Good evening and salutations, my soap opera fans. So, as the title says, Willow shot Joe. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't see it coming. At the same time, it was pretty obvious on some levels. It was one of those things where it's like something that was so obvious. You, for me personally, I didn't expect. Now, some people did, and that's cool. I am a bit torn because it was like, yeah, but at the same time, it was like, really? Because you kind of shot yourself in the foot. But we'll talk about it. Freddie's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Huge fans in the chat. How you doing tonight? Black Ma, aka Mr. GQ, is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Crystal is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Sean is in the chat. How you doing tonight? Yvetta is in the chat. How you doing tonight? I have to do Susan is in the chat. How you doing tonight? What's good, Sean? Actually, that's how I feel. I didn't. I thought it was a red herring, the same as Michael, but honestly, I was surprised, but not really. It was obvious, but I didn't want it to be obvious. Jared's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Cherry Ice Cream's in the chat. How you doing tonight? Okay. All right. Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing, Ryan. He thought that she was innocent. Hey, listen, it happens. No one's perfect, right? You know? Hey, listen, Chase didn't jump on a bandwagon of, oh, Willow did it because everyone else did it, right? Yeah, he actually thought for himself and he didn't sit there and just go with the crowd. Such an idiot. Um, but he says, I didn't think you would be live streaming though. Yeah, I wasn't I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure. I do have to wake up early tomorrow, so I don't know how long I'm actually gonna be streaming for, but yeah, I was like, you know what? This was definitely one of those episodes that I want to sit there and talk about afterwards with everyone. Susan says, what I don't get is why didn't Wally ever mention that he called his mom? And the second part is why was Willow so stupid enough to put the gun in Elizabeth's house? I didn't think she was. Well, actually, tell you the truth. Okay, let's see. Let's see where this stream is going. Um, King was good. I mean, it was somewhat smart in a sense because then he could sit there. Because then she could sit there. What's good, Amy? Because then she could sit there and frame Michael. Michael was there when Liz wasn't. So I just don't know how she knew that Michael was coming by. Oh yeah, he could have probably called. Huh? What's a good plan? You know, frame Michael, throw him off. He is the more obvious suspect. So I can see how. Yeah, that's fun, Jay man. Um, I was like, what the hell's my damn music at? What I'm looking for. I was like, what up? There. Um, hell, it was one of those things. Even Dante started to doubt himself. You know, like that's how crazy it was. Even Dante started to sit there and doubt himself. But at the end of the day, yeah, it was Willow. Willow did it. Fans got what they wanted in a sense, right? And so that's cool. Jay Blue, I'm just listening in the background. What's good? What's good, Monique? I was trying to would have remembered Drew that he hated the quartermain, so why are pushing pushing hard to be one? DW, it was obvious it was Willow. I only thought that she did it due to DID, but she knew what she was doing. Will come by Elizabeth's house. It was a coincidence that it played out goodbye by her by saying the Michael tried to frame her. Yeah. What's good, Jonathan? How you doing tonight? How long you ever just going to be? Okay. All right. Sounds good, Freddie. Thank you for being here tonight. Yeah. I mean, like I said, but okay, so now the thing is, what's good, Spider Quake was, well, I was right, but I disagree with Ryan saying Michael owed an apology. No, he isn't. He wasn't acting. He was acting sus as F. What's good? What's good, Eagle? 99.9% of GH fans knew it was Willow from the start. What's good, Aiden? What's good, Metalhead? What's good, Lisa? All right. So we got Monique says Alexis won Drew, but him being so cocky and arrogant, he blew Willow's case. Well, yeah, he got on the stand. He started breaking down and acting like a damn toddler. Um, he started acting like a damn toddler. And the sad thing is, you know, Quick Quick says I meant to say Michael was acting sus, and because also Mike, he was also Michael's ringtone is so trash. He needs to change it ASAP. Eagle says, I still think Trina and Kai have to come forward now, and that's the thing, right? This is what I was going to sit there and say. Now that Trina and Kai know, if they don't say anything, right, and Willow gets acquitted, they can't charge her again. This is where double jeopardy comes in. So, you know, this is really up to Trina and Kai to come forward. It was good, Lisa, and of course, if Trina and Kai comes forward, they're going to have to sit there and explain why they were there. This is Trina in her element, using her smarts to figure things out. Please keep her out of her parents' messy writers. She's thriving again. Yes. Let's see. Exactly, Jay Blow, and I'm glad, and I'm so glad that Kai stood on his goddamn principles. And I Metalhead said, did any okay? Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing, though, GH fan. They should come forward, but the thing is, though, will they come forward? Right? Will they come forward? Because if they don't, and she gets acquitted, it's double jeopardy. Johnson says Willow committed intent to murder and perjury. Well, it won't matter. She gets acquitted. If Trina and but again, Jonathan, it goes back down to if they come forward. If they come forward, then yeah, they could sit there and nail her. But if they don't come forward, um, she gets acquitted. They can't charge her again. So that's pretty much. And what's good, Willow? What's good, Willow Banks? Tracy, Willow, Drew, and Michael. Yeah, she can get jail time for perjury at least. Yeah, they can plead that down now. What's good, Susan? How are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. I gotta go. You know, it's funny, Jonathan. I gotta go. I gotta go back. I gotta look at the previews then. I gotta go back. I gotta look at the previews. Okay, can yeah. I guess I gotta go back to the previews then and rewatch it. I don't remember that part. I think I was just so kind of like shocked in a sense, like what? Oh, absolutely, DW. And Aiden said Trina and Kai can go to 88 Turner and strike a deal with the Evans. You better do something. Shit. They better do something now. Now that they know. Susan says, I really didn't think it was Willow that was a shooter. She is the worst. She is worse than anyone, these poor kids. You know, and that's funny. We haven't had a good cliffhanger in a hot minute. We haven't had a good cliffhanger in a hot minute. So, um, where'd you get that from, Jonathan? Just curious. I don't usually go on a lot of other people's chats sometimes, so or on Reddit or Facebook or anything like that. So, but yo, said she sees a kid's son. Michael better hire some of these goons to protect them, or better yet, jet you and your. Yep. Oh, okay. All right, Jonathan. That's interesting. Lisa says Willow killed for her kids. She isn't the first person to do so. That is correct. Oh shit. You know what? Which I haven't said. Let's see. Let's see. Where are we? Where are? Wow, that's an interesting title. Okay, so we got 42 people. Okay, my bad. 48 people in the chat, and we have 13 likes. So make sure you hit that like button because it does really help. Um, and if anyone can actually hit the like button again, because I don't like number 13. I am one of those people. I do not like 13. And of course, Cat Lady, my queen Cat Lady is bragging about how she was right. Well, that's interesting. But yeah, I'm not gonna. And LaShawn says, "Was Matt Clark one of Abba's? He is now going to be named." Yeah, it's. Listen, I was waiting for himself to call. I was waiting for. Him to call himself Matt Clark. Johnson says Nina's mother was a killer and she had one daughter who was a murderer, and she has another who was an attempted murderer. The Reese gene is cursed. And not to mention that Nina no. Oh, yeah, you're right. And Netta says kinda like the hook killer, right? Right in that? Monique says, why didn't Alexa's assistant Susan present evidence that Drew threatened Alexis with if she doesn't win her case, she won't see Scout. That requires her using a brain. But yes, you're right. And what's good, Queen of the South? It's good to see you. Hope you are hope you're doing well. So yeah, like I said, it's just that's the thing. Some people know. I'm be honest, I was one of those people with bad news. No, sorry. Ego, I'm not surprised. Like, I'm not surprised. DW says, do you think Willow will go on the run? Double jeopardy doesn't apply unless she's acquitted. That's true. So Trina and Kai can still tell Alexis the truth before if they do, yeah. And of course, her mom is rich. Her mom is rich. So it's totally possible. And Queen says, hi to you, Jonathan. Oh, someone said time to get more. Boston Girl, what's good, Boston Girl? Says, who will Trina and Kai go to the information? Going to Alexis is useless. Why is that? He wasn't here last time, too. I remember that. And will be Trina and Kai's fault. Hope it breaks out the one side Jocelyn and Trina relationship once and for all. I don't know why people want was a blackmailer if she was disrespectful. DA, she should accuse herself from the case altogether. That's true. That's true. That's very true, Susan. Jay Blue says looking forward to Martin eating crow when she finds out it was Willow. Looking forward to Tracy getting him. Yeah, I mean, listen. Here's the thing: if she doesn't, I mean that's pretty much the end of her character, and that's pretty much giving the actress the walking papers, giving her damn walking papers at that point. I mean, she ain't going to Franklin. She going straight to jail. Like, and by jail, I mean like they going to sit there and say bye bye to the actress. Johnson says not to mention Scout is living with Drew and Willow, so if Alexis learns that Willow was the shooter, she may want to protect Scout. Eagle says I'm gonna watch some YNR and days I forgot to watch. Today's episode had a good one. Had a good one per have a good one, people. All right, Eagle. You have a great night. Thank you for coming through. Yeah, surprise. I mean, I got out of work early enough where I was able to get all the soaps done by 4:30, which was um. Oh, I don't know why. I don't know why. I thought he meant Young and the Restless. Thank you, Jonathan. I can see that in that. I can see that in that. Will and I hurting Scout. And she had no problem sitting there shooting her damn daddy in the back. Like seriously. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Sharon. If we're gonna be honest, um, and Matt Clark is pretty much just Todd 2.0 at this point. Let's be honest. Yeah, that's true, Jonathan. But I mean, would that be the worst thing? To be honest, Jonathan, would that be the worst thing if Willow nearly made Scout an orphan? I mean, it's not like yes, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Sean, I'll be streaming tomorrow. Um, but seriously, that would not be the worst thing making her a Scout. I mean, making her what you call it. Oh, I got you, Sean. I got you. But yes, have a good night. Yeah, I mean, and that's true. That's true, GH fan. Like that was a self defense case. You know, deep down, Nina probably suspected it. She did give her a false alibi at the beginning. That's crazy. Recognizes crazy, and that's the thing, right? Right, and Anita, Aneta, um, they made. Here's the thing: they made Drew so unlikable that me saying Scout wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, somebody comes at you with a hatchet. Regardless, Lisa, somebody comes at you with a hatchet and you have a gun, you tell me you're not going to use it? Seriously? Monique says Kane and Phyllis, victory over Victor won't last long. How many times has Victor came back on top when people have a small victory? That's true. It was good, Ed. To pop in and say Drew look crazy. Hell to the yes, Ed. Hell to the yes. That's true, J fan. Um, but the thing is though, Monique, like Phyllis, here's the thing, Phyllis wasn't wrong. Phyllis was not wrong. As annoying, as obnoxious as she is. Okay, good. Oh, hell to the yes, Jonathan. But like, Phyllis wasn't wrong. Phyllis was like, you keep sitting there chasing after her, and she keeps sitting there slamming the door in your face. She keeps sitting there moving the goalpost, and you keep sitting there falling for it. And to be honest, She wasn't wrong about that. Everything that she said, which by the way, I'm not gonna lie, Phyllis, as annoying as obnoxious as Phyllis can be at times, she was looking kind of fun. But she wasn't wrong. You know, that's the thing. Like Phyllis was not wrong. Kane may not have wanted to hear it, but like, bro, here's the thing from an audience member, I am sick and tired of watching Kane constantly kiss Lily's ass. Like it is just beyond sad, pathetic, and most importantly, annoying as hell. Like it is truly annoying. What's good, Lashanta? Yeah, apparently most people apparently most people knew except for me. Um, and that it says, "What will Sitwell do with the knives?" That's a good question. Fact. So J. Blue said the disdain and the looks Drew gave Michael is ridiculous. He wronged his nephew so many times, but thinks that Michael is in the wrong. Yeah, that's how twisted that's how twistedly fucked up Drew is. Okay, they done changed Drew so bad that like he was like, I'm a congressman, I'm a Navy SEAL, I deserve this, I'm entitled to that, and that golden boy got all of it. And I'm like, what in the like? I just tell you, it was so crazy how everyone just looked at him like, oh, this motherfucker done lost his mind. Like everyone, it almost looked like he was foaming at the mouth. He looked like he was damn near foaming at the mouth. Like everyone was like, it was like looking at a really terrible car accident. I disagree with that, Lashanta, but I respect your opinion. Drew has a grudge against his brother and his nephew. Both of his nephews, yeah. The dude, like I said, the dude was foaming at the mouth. I was like, God damn, Drew. Like seriously, when you stop and think about that, what civilized, respectable person would sit there and say something like that about their own nephew? And then he literally sat there and said, "I stole one thing from you, and you try to steal everything from me." And I'm just like, what? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, GH fan. Um, like I said, I just know that he was losing his shit today. Like it was so bad. It was so bad. Okay, there we go. Um, I'm not agreeing to that. I don't think that he's jealous of Jason, but that's your opinion. Navy SEAL who got his ass stomped out by Jason, the same Navy SEAL that got his ass stomped out in prison. Well, I mean, to be fair, Jason did sucker punch him like a little bitch, if we're gonna be honest. And here's the thing, I stand by that. As much as I don't like Drew, I don't like sucker punching bitches either. So like I stand by that shit. Um and the dude did kind of get ganged up on. So I that's just my personal opinion. I don't know. Today's fan is just dumb. I can sit there and say he's a lot of things, and I don't know. But like I said, he was on one today. I was like, oh my god. I was like, bro. Like I said, the dude was foaming at the mouth. Um, and that's the thing, right? Like today, there wasn't really a lot that went on. Like the majority of the stuff that went on that was really interesting was trial stuff, right? Um, yeah, that's true. That's true, Jason. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't a fan of it though. I was like, Jason needs to kind of, you going to assaulting Drew because of Michael. Like, let Michael fight his own goddamn battles. He don't need you to be sitting there sucker punching people and shit. What's the matter with you? I'll say that. It was autumn. It was like like I said, it was like a bad car accident. It was like a bad car accident. You kind of just had your head down a little bit, like, oh, just like, oh, this is, I was like, this is so bad. Johnson says Drew is jealous that Jason gets more praise than him despite him being a hitman. That's true. This no, Willow said she hated Drew and using him to get back at his kids. Yeah. Yeah, they're using him to get his kids back. Yeah. That didn't mean murder. It just meant that she was using him. Like she said that to Nina too. That's not an admission of guilt. Yeah, I saw that. I saw that. Johnson says so Days bring Peter Bree back only to kill him off. Now you see what I'm talking about, Jonathan. Like this is another one of those like let's not love Days of Our Lives. I do. Um but like, when they do things like that, right? When they fumble the ball, it's like what are we doing? Also, like there was certain times like there was this one overly sappy scene of Stephanie talking about, "Oh, I love you so much. I can be free with my sexuality," and it was just this nonstop, over the top, like confession of love that I just literally sat there. I was like, this scene is never gonna end. I was like, this scene is never gonna end. Um, and you know what? Listen, Xander was right. Xander was like, "Yo, listen, you shouldn't be sitting there just making decisions for her." So what does Alex does? He makes a decision for her and be like, oh well, I just figured out I'll just cancel it. I'm like, you didn't talk to her first? No, I didn't talk to you first. I just decided to do it. I was like, honestly, to tell you the truth, it was like you should look at Xander as a cautionary tale at the very least. But okay, bro. Um, and also seems like what's his name? Theo's not back 100%. What's good, Sean? I hope this finally frees True from Willow. Lashanta says, "How did Kyle get Matt Clark? He had his security team. He had his security team follow the Newmans and their security team. So they they were just not there following. They were following Nick, and when the accident happened, they was able to pick him up. So yeah, he was not there putting spies on all the Newmans and their security detail. That's how he was able to sit there and find Matt Clark so fast. It was actually pretty smart. I will say, as much as a prick as Kyle comes across, there is times where he will be kind of smart. Yeah, Sean. I mean, like I said, he probably makes you laugh because he's fucking Todd 2.0. He is Todd 2.0. Oh, slide that up. Okay, cool. So we're at 27 likes and 49 people in the chat. So that's cool. CK said Kyle outed Victor crack security team. Yep. Now, so I said, here's the thing. I will give Kyle his credit when I feel like he deserves it. He definitely did. Just like when he kicked Claire Bear to the curb. Is that Todd had a conscience? Well, I don't know about that. I mean, he did sit there and sexually assaulted someone. Actually, tell you the truth, they're both the same in the fact that Matt Clark sexually assaulted Sharon and Todd sexually assaulted Tia. No, Marty Saber. So like they're on the same level. Like um, Todd knew exactly what he was doing back then. He still did it anyway. And then he even threatened to sit there and do it again to her at one point in an alley until Marty's friend came in and intervened, which is why he got that why he had that scar on his face. But I don't. I do feel that Holden telling Claire, okay, but he felt guilty about it. And that doesn't. That's what I'm saying. Todd has a conscience. That doesn't even pass and just okay. All right. All right. Yeah. It's just because we were watching a lot of classic stuff, like a lot of classic throwback wanted to live stuff. So I didn't know that either until I saw it. Because I always did wonder how he got that scar on his face, and that was pretty much how. So it was interesting to sit there and see. It's like a super super young what you call it Roger Howard. Sean says Willow became a psychopath when she lost her long hair. Okay. Um, I don't know. I always maybe that's just me. I kind of have a little bit more of a like once they did something like that, like once they crossed the line like that, it's like I don't know. Once you do something like that, it's like what's good, Kevin? Do you think Michael goes? Do you think Michael go to prison? Well, Michael go to prison. Danny Bear 87. That's true, Jay Blue. And also becoming interesting. And that's another thing that people tend to forget about. There was point, what I'm saying, like in the beginning, Willow was not interesting. People kept saying the same, like, oh, Willow's so boring, Michael's so boring, Michael and Willow so boring together. Now they are front burner. People sat there and said that that Willow was born for a long time and she needs to leave the show. She doesn't bring anything to the show. And da 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 da. Now it's, oh my god, I hate Willow. It's like, how do we go from Willow's super boring to, oh my god, I hate Willow? It's like, it's like, that is correct, Danny Bear. It's just one of those things where it's like, again, like I didn't see it coming. And I did see it coming at the same time. Like it's weird. Like it's just so crazy. Wiley saved his uncle and going to send his mom to prison. Exactly where Willow belongs, in fucking jail. Like Willow belongs in jail. That chick belongs in jail. I doubt it for a second, then went back to her. That's again, this is the reason why I was like, um this is the reason why like I was still kind of like surprised, like I mean I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised Michael's not going to jail. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that was about, but um okay, now Danny Bear said something that was interesting, and I thought about this too when I was at the laundromat. Danny Bear says, Peter Blake is not dead. Dr. O just made it seem like he was dead so he can steal his body. Exactly. Because not to mention just like no one in Salem really dies, but like if and this I'm so glad you came in and be the and been the, and kind of been the voice of reason in a sense. That Willow married Drew as a get out of jail card. So she can't testify against him? I mean, so he can't testify against her? He shot and killed Franco's abuser who was trying to. That's true. It was just way back when Franco was played by Roger Howard. Facts, GH fan. I mean, it's possible. Liz doesn't exactly have a big house. Wouldn't sit there and take long to figure out, oh, well, this is where she's staying since he knows that her kids are mostly gone. That's true. That's true. LaShanta says, where is Nina in the courtroom? Then it's going to come out that she shot you and she's going to get double jeopardy. Yep. Like I said, that's exactly what I said. Somebody in my comment section said that. I mean, it's crazy. It is pretty crazy, I will sit there and say. Exactly. Like, nah, bro, you married her. Like, you married her crazy ass. Now you gotta sit there and deal with her. I just, I guess in my head, like I was like, but see, this is another thing. People are coming in and they're saying like, well, now Chase is gonna have to sit there and eat crow. He's gonna have to admit that he was wrong and da 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 da. And I'm like, did Ezra thing just send a one of them? That's usually what happens when you get attached to a sex worker. You know, he really doesn't love Willow. She is his possession. He wants up Michael because he is jealous of Michael. You're the second person that said that in the stream. Maybe you know what? Fuck it. Yes, I do agree with that, GH fan. As says I'm back, and I knew it when it came to Willow. She had repeatedly breakdowns sneaking around the Q's estate, and she says she would do whatever. What's good, Allison? Whatever it takes to get her kids back more than once. I can't believe that she shot him because she assumed that Drew ruined her chances at getting her kids back. She just shot him. I'm like, Willow, you don't lost your goddamn mind. I'm doing good, Allison. I had a good 2 hour nap. Surprisingly, what's good, Ron? I didn't really care. I didn't really care for it, Ron. Also, I'm tired of Gabby apologizing for something that she didn't even get a chance to say. I also felt like Days of Our Lives was a little bit too long. Like, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but 44 minutes a lot of times was good. Was good, Big Nate. They're all right. They were okay. They were decent. Gage was probably like the best one. Um, Autumn says if Willow would have just separated herself from Drew, got her life together, like Rick said, and just do nothing until the custody case comes around, she more than likely would have gotten 50-50 joint custody. Yeah, exactly. And honestly, tell you the truth, I would have been cool with that. You know? Okay, let's go around. Um, like I said, 44 minutes was definitely too long. I hate when days have 42, 43 minute episodes. 33. Yeah, 33 is always. Thank you, Ed. I agree. 33 minutes is always the best. It doesn't need to be super goddamn long. Um, I don't like that. I don't. You know what I'm saying? Because again, facts, Danny. I didn't care about that long as overly sappy, um, that sappy speech that Stephanie gave to Alex about freeing her sexuality and being confident, being a good writer. And I'm just like, you really had to sit there and put that many minutes into this scene. It's like, God damn it. I know it's a soap opera, but like, it's like when they do shit like that, you're just like, it's things like that just kind of bothers me, you know? Yeah, standing good. It was, Wino was actually good today, too. Wanda has actually been doing a decent job. Hell, even the scene with Audra and Holden when they were like, "All right, let's just kind of squash. Let's just kind of squash it." Yeah, I heard it. It just went on. It just went on and on and on and on and on and on. And I was like, Days, you're fucking you're killing me, Days. You have you're here to do business. You're here to do a business deal. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, every scene with Leslie just seems like a fucking chore. Every goddamn scene with Leslie seems like a chore. Kat couldn't even be bothered to sit there and go to her grandmother's house. Like, oh my god, I gotta sit there and just kind of bury my head in the sand. And I'm like, okay, you are doing it to a point where Queen Jess, what's good, Jess? You are doing it to the point where it's like, and granted, I was not a fan of Chelsea. Constantly, I wasn't a fan of Chelsea telling Kat how to feel and how to go about this process. I was not a fan of that. She got fucking obnoxious. Um, but I expect that level of fucking vapid thinking from Chelsea. I've come to expect that from her. Um, when it comes to the reveal, Willow, that's going to be the eternal question on him about tomorrow. As said, beyond the guess is okay. Terrell do need to start thinking for himself, then repeat. Yeah, exactly. That was annoying. The only thing that I did like from that was the fact that like he spoke well, he didn't speak his mind. But I know what that feeling is like when you sit there and you're in a room full of people and you say something that's different and you're coming across as the villain of the room because it's like how dare you have a different opinion than what everybody else is sitting there saying. I can't stand that shit. It's like the hive mind mentality just like really um annoys me. So I'm glad that he wasn't backing down what he was saying. The problem was, yeah, he was so far up Jessica's ass that like he couldn't bother to sit there and think for himself. That's to tell you the truth. Jessica GH was great today. I'm glad Willow was revealed as the killer, just like I thought. Um, yeah, the Gates is starting to get kind of preachy, if I'm going to be honest. Because she's a dingbat and she's annoying, Ron. So that's the truth of the matter. Because said Trina and Kai really need to sit down somewhere. They're not detectives. I don't care about Carl and Daphne. I heard you eat out scenes like that, but they have barely been on alone for me to care. Yeah, just like I said, it's coming across as very preachy on some levels, and just there's times where it just comes across as preachy, and then there's just times where it just comes across as depressing. And it's like you just get to a point where you're watching it and you're just like, this is not exciting. Like, yes, it's real, and yes, you do need realism in a soap opera, but like, it starts to get kind of depressing to the point where it's like, this isn't exciting. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I watch it for the content, But like when I when I'm off, I usually don't even watch it last. I will finish off the day on a high note. It's crazy how Joe is the only interesting part of the show. Like I will sit there and end my soap opera on a high note. I'll sit there and watch The Bold and the Beautiful as the fucking high note. No, Ron, I just said that before. I don't care about Bonnie as a character. I literally just said she was a dingbat. It's like, okay. No, Ron, I don't care about Bonnie. She's a dingbat and she's annoying. Um, but now you have Taylor. She's falling for Deacon, right? And Stephanie's coming in there and pretty much like scolding her, like Taylor is her daughter. Um, I'm glad that Deke does actually have another opportunity. I just, that's the thing. GH fan, she's kind of like Lucy in a sense. Well, she'll just sit there and say something really stupid. And you're just like, how did you get through life so far? Just as I can't even think of any interesting storylines beyond the gates, they need to get it together. They need. I think we passed the point of getting it together. Oh shit! I know I forgot something. Ron, I don't give a shit about Anna. You know I don't care about Anna either. Hey, if you like her, that's cool. That's great. I'm glad you like her, but I don't need to like her. I told you how I feel about Anna. Johnson says next month Beyond the Gates will be a year old. Mm. So as a year's progress, mm, just says I don't care that Cat doesn't want to test like they wasting too much time on it. Stephanie should because Sheila is dangerous and Deacon needs to stay out of Taylor's face. Rich will have a fit. I don't know. I can sit there and have one of my kids like if I ever had kids or whatever, I can have one of my kids sit there and talk to me like that. Like that's hella disrespectful. There's a way. Here's the thing. There's a way to talk to somebody without talking to them the way that she did. She was scolding her like that was one of her own fucking kids. I was like, nah, girl. What you're not gonna do is you're not gonna sit there and talk to me like that. It's not. It's how you talk to somebody, Lashonda, not necessarily what you say. That's my issue. He wants to become a senator. Yeah, well, give them something to do other than sit there and be under Anita's ass all the time and constantly propping up Anita. Um, they haven't done shit with Vernon in a very long time. Sneaking. Oh, we found out, Jess. We actually did find out what why he was sneaking around with her. He was taking singing lessons. he was taking singing lessons from Sharon. And one episode he sung to her. Now I can sit there and listen to that, but he sung to her. Okay, Danny Bear. Um, oh yeah, that's true. Like I said, I don't know what fine. We gonna agree to disagree. Um, on Danny Bear because that is hella acidine for you to sit there and talk to your mother like she's one of your fucking kids. Like that's nuts. Like that is absolutely fucking nuts. Like no, that's not fucking okay. That's some shit that you want to get in your fucking shit smacked off. Like I said, it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. Now, that may not mean much to most people, but for me, you're not gonna sit there and talk to me like I'm one of your fucking children. Like that is beyond disrespectful and fucking nuts. Like you're gonna have a civil conversation with me. What you're not gonna do is talk to me like I'm fucking two. But that's just me. Lashanta says Sheila constantly ear hustling and threatened to kill Taylor. What part she doesn't understand? Hmm. I get that, but at the same time, she shouldn't be sitting there living in fear of what Sheila's going to do. Like that's another thing that's a little kind of fucking nuts. Like, um, on the positive side, I don't know, Jay's fan. I'm not really a whole supermodel kind of person. If we're gonna be honest, really not. Never really been attracted to women like that personally. That's just me. Yes, Ron, I remember that. But again, she shouldn't be sitting there living in fear of her. You know. But yeah, no, GH fan. I can't even think of any because it was just never really my thing. I don't know. Maybe for some guys, just it really did much for me personally. Like I said, not really GH fan. Tyler Banks, looks wise, yeah, personality, like kind of a two in the department, but like I said, I'm not really a huge supermodel dolled up kind of. That really worked for me. You know, I only pointed out those women for. Well, I don't even know why I even pointed out like Holly Berry and Nia Long, but you know, which like I said, Nia Long, it was that chick back in the day. Like, both, like honestly, to tell you the truth, both Naomi Campbell and Tyra Banks have shitty ass personalities, like really bad personalities, and they're not that pretty where they can get away with it that much. Like that's the sad part. But here's the thing. I will sit there. Okay, now I'm gonna sit there and say this, Danny Bear. They need to poke the bear. They need to poke the bear. Because let's be honest. Sheila hasn't been was good, Tracy Steves. Sheila has not been interesting in such a long time that I feel like they need to poke the bear on her. They're gonna have to just because if they don't, she's gonna get away with it, and Willow will double jeopardy. Like I still remember when Tyra Banks actually had a talk show. Tracy says Drew is crazy. He wants to testify. Yeah, he wanted to testify, and I have to tell you the truth, the only thing he did was come across as an un. Let me tell you something. Drew came across as an unhinged loser in a sense that, like, let's be honest, Broski had like that level of animosity and jealousy. Yeah, and what's good, Krista? There was a huge level of jealousy that came from Drew about his own nephew. I'm a Navy SEAL. I'm a congressman. I'm like, okay, that's cool and that's great, and no one's not there trying to take that away from you, bro. But like, that's your fucking nephew, and this is how you choose to act towards your nephew. Okay, Ron, sure. Um, I feel like Drew has a feeling it was her too. Yeah, I'm like, damn, bro, like you liking this chick up to the point where she put two bullets in your back, and you just like, I still love Willow. Like, the fuck is wrong? The fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, just a lot happened since you've been gone. Um, and when Kyrie's comes back, he'll sit there and tell you. But me and Kyrie's are cool again. Okay, so everything is all good in the hood with me and Kyrie's. Honestly, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, Lashanta. That could be said in court because he is a quarterback and he has just as much rights to those heirlooms that Tracy keeps fucking whining about as much as Drew. Yeah, Jerry. Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good between us. She's the only issue I had with her is that I feel she could have done more to help out the winners of American Next Top Models. No winners from that show have any real success. Hmm. Agreed, Drew. I mean, yeah. So yeah, so again, Jess, all that stuff is behind us. Ain't even thinking about it anymore. So, so I think I should tell you, Jess, since you haven't been in here in a while. CK says, I agree. Drew does have that Willow shot him in the back. I don't know if he does because I feel like his ego will be too much when Drew finds out Willow is going to stick in that marriage, and he still will blame Michael. Yeah, he will, because he's just that fucking stupid. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way, Rashad. I know people don't like Drew, but from a legal standpoint, that's why they figured that shit out in court. So possible. You could have heard the ringtone. So yeah, Jesse. It's all water under the bridge now. So um, we talked it out. We hashed it out. I actually tell you too, Jesse. He came to the chat. I think um last week. He came into the chat last week. So I'm happy about it. Oh, well, I guess I gotta throw this out now. Um, it was like a cold war for like a couple of months, but it's all good now. You know, actually, tell you the truth, I'm not gonna lie, GH fan. That's called money. That's called money, less stress, and probably Botox. If we're gonna be honest, it's easier to sit there and look young when you don't have to sit there and think about or worry about the average things that other people have to worry about. Oh no, you can skip that, Ed. You can honestly tell you to skip days. Yeah, I mean, in all reality, Ed, if I would sit there and tell you to skip bowling, I mean, skip Beyond the Gates if you didn't watch it. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing, just because I sat there, I was like, that's why I was still kind of surprised that she did it in a sense. Yeah, JH fan, that's the thing. Like, it's easier to sit there and not have to worry about weight and stuff like that when you're just, you know, you have money and life is a lot easier. And that's the thing, Ed. That's the thing. Like, it's depressing to watch. And again, I understand that they want to keep it realistic and stuff like that. But sometimes I feel like Beyond the Gates comes across as more. Like, they've been doing a lot of PSA stuff that has just been not working for me. If I'm going to be honest. Ron says, "Do you think that Ridge will play a part if Taylor's in danger because of her involvement?" Yeah, I do. You know, to be fair, I can't sit there and honestly say because I don't listen to Nicki Minaj or Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion. So it's I only know about Little Kim, but I can't rate them because like I haven't really listened to the other three. So I have to sit there and listen to them to give like a really honest opinion. Exactly, Allison. After how long? Um, yeah, and that's the thing, Tracy. Yeah, that was the only person that I remember. But of course, like I'm gonna be honest, like when I was in high school and I heard about her and I used to like listen to her by proxy. For me, she was never known for her musical talents. She was known for other talents. And like dead ass serious, like she was always known for other talents. Um, and what's good, Krista? No, actually, I did. I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I didn't know what that word actually meant. Somebody had to tell me what that word actually meant. Like I'm dead ass serious. I didn't know what WAP actually meant. Seriously, Tracy. In high school, that's all I remember her being known for was that. Like I never really knew her for her music or talents and stuff. As is the problem with Beyond the Gaze is they do heavy stuff while not giving the characters direction. See, see, like Jeff remembers. I'm not gonna lie, I was meant to look like Google the Fool. I was like, I don't know what that means. Like, I don't. That needs more development, so burn some stories you want to see. I mean, that's part of it. See, Danby, I didn't know what that word meant too. See, in that sense, like GH fan is actually more like hip and cooler than me because I didn't know what that meant. So GH fan is a lot more, you know. She says, you know, what crazy did he end up being the crazy one? Yeah, and see that's the thing though. That's that's before the internet. And but that's before the internet though, right? Listen, I'm not gonna split it up, but I will sit there and say that I do feel like if the internet was around like back in like in those popular eras, like with Biggie and Puff Daddy and stuff like, I think we would have knew a lot more about Diddy and all the heinous shit that he did back then instead of waiting 20, 30 something years now. Eh, take the win, GH fan. Take the win. Hugo says, what else no one is talking about is Nina and Jack are accessories after the fact, and Tampa totally forgot about that. Ego totally forgot about that. I read the song that was hard to figure out, and so many girls was talking about it. YouTube reaction videos. Good old YouTube reaction videos. Tracy says, I agree. The internet has definitely changed things. Yeah, it's just like I said, we would have knew. Like honestly, tell you the truth, we would have knew some people were very shitty back then. You know, like dead ass serious. Just as I think this is one of the best GH reveals. I really like it. Then you say, yeah, celebrities can't get away with stuff anymore. No, they can't. Yeah, but I mean that's the thing though, GH fam. Were people really listening to the songs or were they just like they weren't paying attention though, you know? And the sad thing is that yeah, GH man, it's kind of stupid now. You sit there and look at an R. Kelly song, and it's like age ain't nothing but a number. I'm not gonna lie, that motherfucker was sat there telling on himself for years. Like he was telling on himself for years, and People just like, yeah, I love this song. Says he just sat there and said, "Age ain't nothing but a number." What grown ass man actually writes a song like that? Like, yeah. Just says also, how clueless is Brooklyn? She worried about the wrong thing. I almost forgot about Brooklyn too. Oh yeah, I remember that little bit of beef. R. Kelly had the pistol you saw. Yeah, but I'm just not there saying though. Like Tracy says, I used to love R. Kelly. That was my song with him and Aaliyah. LOL, just saying. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Tracy. There's a song with Busta Rhymes, um, Busta Rhymes, Diddy. There's a whole. I don't remember what this song is, but like, it has a whole skit with like Monique and Mr. T, and I still listen to it. I still listen to it, but yeah, I've been saying that R. Kelly was telling on himself for years. Bump and grind is another confession. That motherfucker has been telling the world what kind of basuda he is, and that's so bad. I shouldn't be laughing about that. Yeah, that's true. I didn't. I never watched the show, but yes. Oh, thank you. Yeah, yes, Danny. You know, yes. Because it didn't happen yet. Also, Ron. Like I didn't talk about it because it didn't happen yet. It's happening tomorrow. That's a fucking fact, Tracy. That's a fact. Yeah, some of that shit was just right in your face, and people just chose to ignore it. Like I said, the internet wasn't around. Oh, okay. All right. Well, thank you, Eagle. Thank you. I look forward to watching it. Like I said, Eagle, I'm so sick and tired of Kane constantly kissing Lily's ass. I think that she left because the actress might be pregnant again for like the third or fourth time or whatever. But like, as much as I don't like Phyllis was right. I knew that's true. That's the thing. Like, I wasn't too. I wasn't just like I was stupid or anything like that, but like, I just don't think that I process it. I don't think I process it like that. I guess part of me is just like, how did the world just turn a blind eye to that though? Like, how did women know? How did people know that he married her and was like, yeah, I'm gonna go out and buy his next album? Like I know his music was good, but like, did morality just go out the fucking window? Like, part of me is like, really? Young and impressionable. I don't blame her. Do you think R. Kelly and D singing? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing though, like, even when she left, she had that whole 180 thing. 1 minute they're kissing and everything is good. Then the next minute she's like, oh, I don't like you and I think he is concerned. I think he's being honest. I think he's having a very uncomfortable an unconventional conversation with his wife about that. But like he has to understand that like she ain't gonna be too happy about that. She's not, I mean, like in what universe would she? What universe would anyone be happy? Their husbands that they're telling their wife, "Oh, I think you should sit there and have an abortion." I mean, I think she just would sit there and acknowledge that, listen, she was a victim, young and impressionable, and he clearly took advantage of her. And it's that simple, sad fact that America watched and still celebrated him, which is fucking wild to me. That's the part that's just wild to me. Like I said, every time I watch the Boondocks, every time I watch that episode, it just like it's fucking wild to me. Like, I have no words to sit there and express that. No, no, no. I know you didn't. I know you didn't, Jay fan. No, I read that right. I know you didn't. I mean, the sad truth is with Johnny and Chanel is like, yo, listen, he's being honest with you, right? Now you may not like what he's saying, you may not like the conversation, you may not be comfortable with it, but that doesn't mean you jump down his throat because he says something that you don't like. You want the man to sit there and be honest with you, and then when he's honest with you, then you want to sit there and berate him and act like he's the fucking devil. You want to have a man that's going to be honest with you, have an honest conversation, but then when he's honest with you, you're like, I just. Plus, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, listen, with Chanel, her attitude, I understood why she had it, but there's just sometimes where Chanel would just sit there and have this like, I hate saying this word, but like really bitchy attitude to a point where it's just like you're literally sitting there counting the minutes. Oh shit, I forgot. Jess, let me know if you're still in the chat. What's good, Timeless? Times. Okay, I'm gonna call you Time. But Jess, let me know if you're still in the chat. He just hasn't been in the chat so long. I totally forgot. Like there was so much stuff I had to sit there and catch up with her with. Yeah, I'm so not looking forward to it. That to asking your wife to get an abortion is wrong on so many levels. I can't say I blame Chanel. Yeah, but see that's the thing though, right? Like, is it wrong or is it honest? Because let's be honest, Jade fan. You want somebody that you're going to want to be honest with, right? You want them to be honest with you and tell them how you feel, right? So you want them to be honest with you, except for when they say something you don't like, when they say something you're not comfortable with. Then what's the point of that they're saying you want to sit there and be in an honest marriage or an honest relationship, and then when you are honest, then you get chastised and everything else. Like you can't sit there and ask for honesty. Then when you get in, they say something you don't like. Oh no, you're terrible. You're the devil. Yeah, it's an uncomfortable conversation. It's very unconventional and it's controversial, but honesty actually means fucking honest. Saying the things that like you wouldn't say to other people. No, Ron, and I'll tell you, if I don't really give a shit if he's going or if he stays. I don't care about Aaron. I don't care about Aaron. I don't care about Felicity. I just simply don't give a shit. Then it says, it's honest. I was on a break with Snow was pregnant, but it sounds like she has to abort the baby for her own safety. Yeah, I don't think it's honest. It's like if your wife asks you if the dress makes her look fat, you never say yes. I get that, but I might sit there and tell her to hit the gym. That's listen. That's what Robert actually said to what's her name, Holly. This is like early back in the 80s. Like it was two times where he was like, yeah, you can get on the treadmill, whatever, and kind of like lose a little bit of, listen, Robert back in the 80s was a fucking G. As says the thing about Chanel is she doesn't like it when Johnny's honest, going through his own struggles and Johnny helping out the family company. Yeah, that's something else. Yes, have a good night, Netta. Thank you for joining. Tracy says I might sit there and tell her to hit the gym. I don't. I think you was there that night, Tracy, when we did the Robert Scorpio, or I think it was Robert Scorpio or it was Holly, but I think you were there. No, I don't feel like they're doing Gwen dirty. It was good, Dave. I did not have Willow shooting Drew on my bank. Yeah, it was definitely it was a surprise, but at the same time, like it wasn't a surprise if that makes sense. Now, I don't think so. I think Johnny will. There was little if I don't know if you watched well you probably watched Days today, but like I feel like there's certain things that he's forgetting, and I feel like that's going to play a factor. Um, that's going to play a factor when he that's going to play a factor when he later on, as far as trying to get back his job. He may not want to get back his job. Like after that whole experience, like I feel like he talked about like actually being a demerit and how much of a weight that is. Thomas says, I feel like so much of Willow breakdown has been off screen. I hope we get to see more of the actress is good at crazy. She is. But that's not being honest though, jeez, man. It's not. It's not being honest. I mean, like that's there's like you have. Here's the thing: if you can't have the honest, the hard conversations with your partner, what are you supposed to have it with? This isn't like oh well I need to be chivalrous. Like no, you need to be honest. If you can't be listen, if I can't be honest with somebody, then this shit ain't gonna work. The screen tactic making it an obvious, making it such an obvious culprit. Yeah. I don't know. I only seen Scream 2, so I don't know, but like it's a song from a long time. What's good, Mitchell? I was not happy with Johnny running the mirror. Yeah, but that's the thing. Like her, I think for like me watching her constantly bitch about that and complain about that just gets annoying after a while. It's like you know damn well why he's doing what he's doing. And I'm like, listen, Chanel, at the end of the day, it's unrealistic for you to act like he's not a demerit, like he's not going to be a part of his father's life. You're living in a fucking fantasy. Because she's a cop, and that's what cops generally sit there and tell their suspects. Then not leave town? I'd rather someone be honest with me than lie because they think it hurts my feelings. I respect the person more. You're like, yeah, exactly. If you can't be honest, what are you doing? Time says I had to chuckle when the ADA shut down the anti-Jason approach of Alexis. But what was so funny about that? Johnson says, "Do you think Rafe will take?" He didn't say no. I mean, here's the thing, Jonathan. I think that from a morality standpoint, he doesn't want to do anything that's going to be like low or underhanded um, to get EJ. Like he wants to do it by the book. He's trying to think logically, Jonathan. But the emotional side is like he wants to nail EJ to the cross. So Jonathan, what I liked about that was that he's wrestling with what's the right thing to do with what he wants to do, which is why he hesitated. Cage fan says, I don't know if I consider that honest as much as I consider cruel. I get what you are saying, but if everyone just says everything they think and with no filter, then that wouldn't be good. Well, yeah, I don't think you should just willy nilly sit there and say everything, but again, he voiced his concerns. He said, "Hey, listen, I think you should have an abortion because I don't want you to die." He lists out his reasons why. Right? If I can't sit there and tell you how I feel and why, then what am I doing with you? That's not the same thing as me just saying, "Yeah, I don't like the bright colors in here." It makes you look a little too loudly fat or whatever. That's not the same thing as just being a dick. Um, I thought that Johnny and EJ were in a good place. No, they are not. But like I said, GH man, yeah, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. He wasn't just sitting there saying, "Well, I want you to have an abortion because I don't feel like having any more kids." He was just like, you know, I think Rafe would take Kristen offer. He looked so tempted to say yes. Exactly, from an emotional standpoint. Exactly. It's fine, Chase, man. It's fine. Why did you? What? Why did you say that Kristen has low self-esteem in this week if she takes? Well, one, Ron, I didn't say that. That's not what I said. So I don't know where you got that from, but I didn't say that. Then Chanel needs to calm down. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like she's being so offended that she's not that they're trying to take what Johnny says as more like concern, like loving concern, and not necessarily like I'm demanding you to sit there and do this. Because Chanel has always sat there and act on emotion for the most part. And logic just tends to go out the fucking window with her. And this is no different. You married the man, you know that he's not necessarily just a mean and nasty and callous person. You're not even bothering to sit there and take that into consideration. She's just acting purely on emotion and honestly tell you truth, stinkiness. No, Ron, I didn't say that, so I don't you actually said that. Yeah, and again, he didn't sit there and say it out of malice, like he knew that she might take it that way, but like he's not gonna sit there and lie. Like, bro, life is too short to be sitting there lying to your partner. Like, what are we doing at this point? Say how you feel and let the fucking chip fall where they may. You know him, you know his heart, you know him long enough. You fucking married him. Now you sit there acting like he's going out of his way to be just like cruel and shit. So now she's like being super defenseful and like, and then of course her dingbat annoying ass mother's gonna sit there and be like, I can't believe you said that, Johnny. Da 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 da. Like, ugh. I don't think that Jackie Harris is a bad person, so this is nothing towards the actress, but like, Pauline is always so fucking extra. And a lot of times, every time she comes on, you're just kind of like, oh, here we go. It's like you're bracing for the level of like fucking cringe and everything else. Then it's like, well, because that's exactly how she sounds. That's literally, how she sounds every time she gets on. Listen, I feel like my body just kind of tenses up in a way that's not fucking human. Where it's just like, oh, here we go. I brace for certain characters that I know I don't like um like Leslie, like Vanessa. Like I know Vanessa's gonna sit there and say some goofy shit, and you're gonna be just sitting there the entire time like, oh Lord, how long is this scene gonna be? Hopefully, Johnny, she married somebody that's gonna sit there and be patient. Johnny has more patience than me. I'll tell you that much. Why? Because they both come across as dingbats. Like that's serious. Because they both come across as dingbats. Crystal says Kristen and Rafe next couple. What? Uh, Pretty much. Yeah. It's like, yay, Bonnie's back. Watching Mimi back in high school, like my goodness, jeez. Oof. Well, yeah, but like I think she should have at the very least know me. No, I'm not coming from a place of malice. And understand that we need to sit there with me. You're gonna have the hard conversations. You're not gonna be in my life. It's just really that simple. You're not gonna be sitting there snapping at me, disrespecting me. Like I don't know. Like I said, I'm built a little bit differently. Um, I've seen Chanel sit there and snap at Johnny to the point where it's like, God damn, bro, like you have a dick or something? Like, yeah, just having tough conversations. Like, you're not always gonna be pretty, and yeah, you're not always gonna sit there and like them and be all happy, whatever. But like, there's a level of mutual respect that needs to be had. That needs to be had. That's the problem that I have with. That's the problem I have with Naomi a lot of times. Is Naomi gets to a point where she starts to get disrespectful as fuck, and Jacob just sits there and takes it like the little dickless fucking man that he is. And I'm like a dickless boy that he is. I'm not even gonna call him a man. Yeah, I don't see that out there. I don't. That's Ron. I'm not even gonna bother. Um, and she's done that on a number of occasions. It's like, nah. I was like, nah, Naomi, that shit is not gonna work out. All right. As much as I would love to sit there and stay later, I gotta sit there and take my ass to bed because I gotta be up at 3 o'clock in the morning, which I'm not too happy about. But I did take a nap, so I feel a lot more confident. but still my ass should sit there and be getting ready to go to bed. So I will be back tomorrow, and we'll talk about all the stuff that want to happen on GH, which should be crazy. Yes, have a good night, Ed. Have a good night, GH fam. Have a good night, Ron. Have a good night, Blackmon. Have a good night, Danny Bear. Have a good night, Queen Jess. Have a good night, Spiderquake. Have a good night, Allison. Have a good night, Ryan. I think I saw have a good night, Ryan. That's true, Jonathan. That's true. Have a good night, Danny Bear 87. If you're not subscribed to Danny Bear, definitely subscribe to her. Support our girl, Danny Bear. Have a good night, Freddie. Have a good night, CK. Thank you for joining. Have a good night, Boston girl. Johnson says, join us next time for another edition of Soap Chop without Boston. Thank you. Have a night, Ed. Have a night, Tracy. Yes, Spider Quick. I will be live tomorrow. Yes, I'll definitely be live tomorrow. I'll definitely be live tomorrow. You know we're gonna have to sit there and talk about it. So my ass gonna be here. Have a night, Ron. Johnson says, "Can I hit the like?" Yes, hit that like button. Hit that goddamn like button. Okay, that does help keep me in the algorithm, and that's always a good thing. But yes, I'll sit there and see y'all tomorrow. Laters.